right, let's jump right in. Have you ever thought that maybe, just maybe, the secret to the classroom of the future is actually over 100 years old? It sounds kind of crazy, right? Well, today we're going to talk about exactly that. We're unlocking the Montessori method and looking at how modern tech is making it a total game changer for educators everywhere. So just let that question sink in for a second. We're constantly chasing the newest fad, the latest tech, the next big thing in education. But what if the most powerful, most relevant approach has been right under our noses this whole time? Something from way back in the early 1900s. It's kind of mind-blowing. And that's exactly why this method is having such a huge comeback right now. And let's be real, if you're an educator today, this probably feels all too familiar. The classroom can feel like a total pressure cooker. You've got more demands on you than ever before, less time to get it all done, and this constant need to somehow engage every single student on a deep level. It's exhausting, and it's pretty obvious that the old one-size-fits-all approach, it's just not cutting it anymore. It's broken. So what's the solution? Well, that brings us to our first big idea. We're talking about rediscovering a philosophy that is absolutely perfect for the challenges we're facing right now. Okay, so what is the Montessori method really? In a nutshell, it basically flips the traditional classroom completely upside down. Instead of the teacher standing at the front of the room being the sage on the stage, the child becomes the center of everything. It's all about learning by doing, hands-on activities, self-directed projects, collaborative play. The teacher's job completely changes. You go from being a lecturer to more of a guide, someone who carefully prepares the learning space and then steps back to let that natural, kid-driven curiosity just take over. And this is why it works so well in the 21st century. I mean, look at this list. We're talking about skills our kids desperately need for the world they're actually growing up in. Fostering independence instead of just rote memorization. Developing real critical thinking. Encouraging a curiosity that's going to last a lifetime, for jobs that don't even exist yet. And this is a huge one, nurturing those social emotional skills. It's all about adapting to each kid's individual pace. It's not an assembly line, it's a personalized journey. So this all sounds great, right? But for the longest time, getting this kind of training was a huge hurdle. It was expensive, you had to travel, it just wasn't practical for a lot of people. But that's where things get really interesting. Now, Montessori is going digital, creating an accessibility bridge for everyone. Just look at the difference here. The old way, the in-person certification, meant a rigid schedule. You had to be in a specific place at a specific time. But online, it's self-paced, it fits around your life. Before, it was geographically limited. Now, you can learn from literally anywhere. The pacing used to be set by the group, but now it's totally individualized to you. It's not just a minor tweak, you guys. This is a complete game changer for teachers who want to level up their skills. And this quote from a modern educator really just hits the nail on the head. Online training gave me the tools to transform my classroom without having to leave it. That's it, right there. It's about getting real, practical tools you can actually use without having to upend your whole life to do it. You're not just learning theory, you're getting things you can bring into your classroom tomorrow. Okay, let's say you're on board. You're thinking, this sounds amazing, where do I sign up? But then you do a quick Google search and whoa, it can be a little overwhelming, right? There are so many options. So how do you actually choose the right online program? Let's talk about a practical roadmap. Here's a super simple 4-step process you can use to vet any program. Step 1, check for accreditation. This is non-negotiable. It's your stamp of quality. Step 2, really look at the curriculum. Is it just a bunch of theory, or are they giving you practical applications you can use? You need both. 3, ask about mentorship. Are you going to have access to an experienced guide who can help you? This is huge. And finally, number 4, seek out community reviews. See what actual students who've been through the program are saying. Let their experience guide you. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about getting another piece of paper to hang on your wall. This is about a real transformation. It's about unlocking your full potential as a teacher and seeing what's truly possible. Think about the before and after for a second. The before is that chaotic classroom where you feel like you're constantly putting out fires, managing behavior, just trying to get everyone to pay attention. The after? Well, the after is a classroom that's just humming. It's an engaged, child-led learning environment where kids are excited about what they're doing. They're working on their own projects, helping each other out. They're actually finding joy in learning. That's the transformation we're talking about. And this isn't just a feeling. There's real data to back it up. 45%? That's a potential increase in student-led projects after you implement these methods. Let that sink in.
Almost half of their time in the classroom could be spent on projects they are genuinely passionate about. That's not just a small change. That is a massive shift in student ownership and engagement.
So it all comes down to this. Your classroom is a canvas. When you embrace this philosophy, you stop being just a manager of a room, and you become a curator, an architect of a space for discovery. And that leaves us with one final, inspiring question. What will you empower your students to create?